Hey Jenny, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're diving into something that's got the tech world buzzing, Apple's potential shift in material for the next Vision Pro.
Ooh, I've been hearing whispers about this. The current Vision Pro uses aluminum, right? What's the big change they're considering?
That's right, the current one has an aluminum frame. But the talk now is that Apple might actually pivot to using titanium for internal parts of the Vision Pro 2. This is kind of a big deal.
Titanium? Like they use in planes? Or the Apple Watch Ultra? That sounds expensive. Why would they do that?
Exactly. It's that same aerospace-grade stuff. The main reason, based on the reports we're seeing, is weight.
Weight. That makes sense. I've heard people talk about the Vision Pro being a bit on the heavy side for extended wear. So how much lighter could titanium make it?
So picture this. Aluminum is about 2.7 grams per cc. Titanium is denser, closer to 4.4 grams per cc. At first glance, you'd think, wait, heavier density?
Yeah, that was my thought. Wouldn't that make it heavier?
Here's the thing about titanium, especially these high-grade alloys. Its strength-to-weight ratio is fantastic. Because it's so much stronger than aluminum, you can use significantly less material for the same structural integrity. Think of it like building a bridge. You can use thicker, heavier steel beams or thinner, stronger titanium ones that support the same load but weigh less overall.
Okay, that's a crucial point I missed. So they're not replacing all times the aluminum volume for volume? They're using strategically placed titanium components that are thinner but just as strong?
Precisely. The speculation is for around a 20% weight reduction by swapping out internal aluminum pieces for optimized titanium ones. It's a clever bit of engineering.
Reducing weight by 20% would significantly impact comfort, especially if you're wearing it for a while. But you mentioned titanium is expensive. How would this affect the price? There were rumors about a price drop, weren't there?
The million-dollar question. Literally. Early leaks suggested a pretty substantial price drop. Maybe $500 to $700 off the original $3,499. The idea was that optimizing the design and materials, even using something premium like titanium, along with scaling production, could actually bring costs down, or at least offset the material expense.
So the initial cost of titanium is higher, but maybe simplified manufacturing or less material needed overall could balance it out? That feels a little counterintuitive, though.
It does, doesn't it? And honestly, later, arguably more reliable leaks started to focus more on the weight reduction and comfort improvements than on a confirmed price cut. It's possible that making it lighter is the primary goal, and any price adjustment is a secondary benefit from optimized manufacturing processes, not necessarily driven by a cheaper bill of materials.
That makes more sense. Prioritizing the user experience, making the headset more comfortable to wear, aligns with Apple's focus. Using titanium might be their way to achieve that without entirely sacrificing durability, maybe even enhancing it in certain areas.
Exactly. We've seen them use titanium strategically before, like in the Apple Watch Ultra, which is positioned as their rugged premium watch. It shows they have the capability and willingness to use these materials for specific product lines.
Speaking of sources, you mentioned some leaks. How solid is this information? Are we getting this from reliable places?
That's an important qualifier. Some of the earliest leaks came from sources like Kosutami, who has a bit of a mixed track record when it comes to predicting Apple's exact moves. While they correctly pointed out the exploration of new materials, even they've backtracked slightly, saying maybe most outside still might be aluminum.
So we should take it with a grain of salt, but the general direction of exploring lighter, stronger materials seems consistent across different reports?
That's a fair assessment. The consistent thread is Apple is focused on addressing the weight and wearability of the Vision Pro for the next iteration. Titanium appears to be a strong candidate for achieving that, alongside other design tweaks they might be considering.
And this could have implications beyond just the Vision Pro, right? If they perfect these material techniques, could we see this trickle down to other products, or even influence how other companies approach headset design?
Oh man, this is the cool part. Using advanced alloys like grade 5 Ti6 Al4 volts means they're working with materials that have seriously high tensile strength, like 1,000 megapascals. That kind of precision engineering, miniaturizing structures while maintaining strength, that absolutely could impact future products, even beyond AR/VR.
Right? Isn't that wild? And if they crack the code on integrating this while keeping costs somewhat managed, it forces other players like Meta, who currently rely heavily on plastics, to potentially rethink their times material strategies too. It could shift the whole industry's approach to headset design, pushing for lighter, more comfortable devices, even if it adds to the cost.
Exactly. It sets a new kind of benchmark. While competitors have focused on affordability using plastics, Apple might be leaning into a premium position, betting that certain users, especially in professional or enterprise settings, will value the reduced weight and enhanced durability that materials like titanium offer, even at a potentially higher price point.
So it's not just about replacing aluminum. It's about a whole strategy around material science to redefine what a comfortable, high-performance AR headset can be. And that distinction might be what helps them carve out their niche compared to more mainstream, consumer-focused VER headsets.
You got it. It's a fascinating move. And while the exact pricing and final design details are still under wraps and subject to leaks with mixed reliability, the focus on titanium for weight reduction seems pretty consistent. It feels like Apple is seriously investing in material innovation for this next generation.
But let's look at it from another angle, Mark. Is this focus on premium materials potentially limiting their market? I mean, Meta's leaning heavily into plastic and composites for their headsets, aiming for lower price points and wider adoption.
That's a fair point, Jenny. And it speaks to the core strategy difference there. Meta's approach is about getting VR into as many hands as possible, which often means using more cost-effective materials. Apple, with the Vision Pro, appears to be positioning this more as a high-end computing platform. Maybe for work, maybe for specific professional uses, and eventually, consumer? That remains to be seen.
Right. So, while titanium makes sense for durability and weight in a premium device, couldn't simpler materials have achieved significant weight savings too? Couldn't they have optimized the aluminum frame? Or experimented more with advanced composite materials, like those used in high-performance sports equipment or aerospace?
Absolutely. And I think that's a valid counterargument. There are some incredibly light and strong composite materials out there. Some skeptics might wonder if the choice of titanium is as much about marketing, that premium feel and association with high-end products, as it is about engineering necessity. Could they have achieved a similar weight reduction through other means? Perhaps at a lower cost?
That's the real question, isn't it? It's not just about the material properties, but the economic and strategic decisions behind the material science. Is Apple making a material choice that elevates the product's performance and justifies a high price? Or are they choosing a material that's simply 5 times more premium to reinforce that price tag?
It's likely a combination of factors. The strength-to-weight ratio of titanium is hard to beat for certain structural components, but the perception of titanium as a premium, durable material certainly doesn't hurt Apple's branding, especially when they're trying to carve out a new category like spatial computing.
True. And as you mentioned, using it in internal parts is key. It's not necessarily about a full titanium outer shell, which would likely be incredibly expensive. It's targeted usage for those critical weight-bearing components.
Exactly. It's about optimizing the internal structure where that strength-to-weight advantage provides the most benefit for overall comfort. And by using materials like grade 5 Ti6 Al4 volts, they're working with alloys that have extremely high tensile strength. We're talking about materials that can handle immense pulling forces before breaking. Think about the stresses on a headset worn for hours.
Right, so it's about engineering for long-term wear and tear, not just initial feel. But okay, let's shift gears a bit and think about our listeners. This material science stuff can get a little technical. How can we make this engaging for folks at home?
Good point. We could ask our listeners, would you pay more for a lighter headset? If Apple reduces Vision Pro's weight by 20% using titanium but keeps the price high, that gets them thinking about their own priorities.
Oh, I like that. Or maybe a social media poll. Between comfort, lighter materials, durability, premium alloys, or price, affordable plastics, which matters most to you? It lets them weigh in on the dilemma companies face selecting materials.
Excellent idea. We could also pose a discussion question on the podcast and social media. What would convince you it's worth paying extra for a headset made from advanced materials? This might bring up specific use cases or desired features that justify the cost for different people.
And maybe we can get a little quirky. How about a Guess the Material segment? Play some audio clips from manufacturing processes, like the sounds of different materials being worked, and have listeners guess what they are. We could even bring on someone who works with these materials to explain what those sounds mean.
That's a fun concept. It brings the abstract idea of materials down to something more tangible and audible. We could also do a mini plastics versus titanium debate segment. Set up a friendly argument between us, or even bring on some experts, where one side argues for the benefits of lightweight metals for max comfort and durability, and the other champions affordable plastics for wider adoption, and then let the audience vote on who made the better case.
That would be a blast. It frames the issue in a clear, relatable way and gets the audience involved. It highlights that there isn't one right answer, but different strategies serving different goals.
Exactly. It's important to show that this isn't just about a single material switch. It's part of a broader strategic decision by Apple about where they want to position the Vision Pro in the market and what they believe users will value.
And it keeps us all guessing until the official announcement. It's a great example of how fundamental material science plays such a crucial role in pushing the boundaries of consumer tech and influencing industry trends. Thanks for breaking that down, Mark.
Anytime, Jenny. It's stuff like this that feels important to unpack. The why behind the rumored changes. It gets me excited about what's coming next and what it means for other tech.
Same here. All right, that's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.